One area where PowerSchool is a little bit weak is with its printed reports. There are a number of reports, but the formatting is a little bit awkward in some cases and doesn't show exactly what teachers are used to from past grading programs. However, there are a number of things you can do that may help to make your life a little bit easier. Many teachers would like to see how the students are doing in a particular category. So then you can identify that by simply clicking here on Final Grades. Now if we go ahead and we look at final grades, we can see there are 3 categories set up for this class: homework, labs, and tests. And so you can see how the student is doing in each of those categories. It may be helpful when you're trying to identify an area where a student could focus particular energy in order to improve their grade or improve their learning. In addition, you have some reporting functions. So these reports here, if you click on reports, obviously we've seen the attendance grid before. This is the one that produces the gridded page that gives you a place to write things down. You can do a category total report, which gives you a summary of the category totals by each section or student. But one of the most useful ones is the final grade and comment verification report. It creates a PDF that allows you to see what the comments were for a particular class and what the grades were on the portal. So if you click here, and then the key thing that a lot of people forget to do is to choose the particular reporting term that they want to use. So in this case we'll do Q1, and if we use Q1 it will only give us the grades for Q1. Now you can do that for active classes or selected classes. You have that option there. Another particularly useful report is the individual student report, and this gives you basically something you could use at parent conferences or in a student conference to identify areas where the student is successful and areas where they need to focus. So this will, if we go ahead and use the appropriate reporting term where it says date range here, we have the opportunity to use all students, or we can do selected groups and or students. And we select those groups by simply clicking on this active tab over here under student groups so that we see the list, and then we can use the control button to select different students so we could get a group of students that way. Or if we click right here and use the shift button, we can select that whole bunch right there. The score sheet report gives us those printed score sheets that we're used to seeing. Now there are a couple of things that we need to keep in mind here. If we go ahead, we click the selected class, or if we wanted to do just a particular group, we could do that too by selecting over here, just like we did with the last report. But the key thing to remember is this date range here, but also when it says items to include, you only want to include assignments from Q1 or T1. In the middle school, unfortunately, the A1 and B1 will show up. They're subterms of T1, and so there's not an easy way to get rid of them. However, if you carry over your grade setup from T1 into A1 and B1, the grades should all be very similar, or students can see how they did it the first part of the term versus the second part of the term, if you want to provide that information. But if we run this report, open the report, bring it right up here so we can see it. Notice how we only have Q1 here. We don't have the 6 or 7 other categories that might be in there. But then when we go to print, we're given an option to fit to page. And if you click fit to page, it will do its best to try to scale it to make it fit a little bit better. It doesn't always fix all of the issues that people have had with printing, but it does help to make things go a little bit better.